بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. I would like to welcome all of you for this course, which is Management 512, Organization, Behavior, and Leadership. And we are in the first chapter, and which is the field of organizational behavior. This is, of course, addressed to my students, and everybody is welcome. Go ahead and through my channel, which is educational channel at YouTube. And today is September 1st, 2020. Textbook is this textbook that we are using. We are going to cover all chapters in this textbook, about 18 chapter, about 18, sorry, it's 16 chapter, okay? And this is the Behavior in Organization, 10th editions by Greensberg. And the other text that we are gonna take the leadership, okay? It's the Leadership Experience, 7th edition by Daft, okay? And from this chapter, from this textbook, we are gonna cover only 8 chapters. And we are gonna go through each, chapters, and we will be referring back and forth as needed between the two books, but we are going to go according to the syllabus that has been distributed to you. Okay, for the first notion about the field of organizational behavior. As much as we have, any person has certain personality, same with the groups in society. They have also, could be same personality if they came from certain culture. Therefore, a person has personality, the group has certain personality, and the organization we work with also have personality. Therefore, organizational behavior literally talks about those organizations and what type of personality this organization have. If you walk into any organization, like Aramco, it has certain personality. Discipline, high performance, showing their own time, and working late. These have certain personality. Some other groups or some other companies or some other, maybe they are lenient about when to come, when to go, and therefore these are different personalities, okay? Organizations within United States has certain personality. Organization within Europe, like German, like France, Holland, England, they also have probably different personality. If you go to the Far East, China, Japan, Hong Kong, and Singapore, they also have personality, as if these organizations has entities, and they have certain personality. Organization behavior talks about these things. Organization, in other words, deals with this organization as person, okay? If we understand it well, then we know how to deal with it and how to work effectively with it. Very good. Now, to start with, we have to define organization. What is the definition of organization? Organization is structured social system consisting of groups and individuals working together to meet some agreed upon objectives. Group of people work together to reach agreed upon objectives. Okay? The field, that's what, the field of organization behavior is all about characteristics, behavior of this organization or any organization. Okay? Organization behavior is the field that seeks to understand individuals, groups, and organizational process in the workplace. In other words, we are dealing with this individuals, our individual, and we are dealing with the group, and all that are working within organization. We will be studying relationship between the group and the individual, and between the organization and individual, and between the organization and a group. Therefore, these are the three levels of analysis: individual level, group level, and organizational level. Individual level. Okay. Now, OB, organization behavior field, applies organizational behavior characteristics. It has certain characteristics. When we deal with OB, organization behavior, it applies scientific method to managerial problems, studies individuals, groups, organization, individuals, group, organizations, okay? And it is multidisciplinary in nature, not now studying the people or the person, that's part of psychology. Studying the groups, that's science, part of sociology. Studying the organization, management, okay, and the group, we have different, studying the group, studying a person is psychology, studying the group, sociology, and anthropology. And to an extent, the political science. Studying the organization, studying the management, studying economics, and political science. Therefore, this is the field of organization behavior, is multidisciplinary in nature. Enhance organizational effectiveness and individual well-being. The objective is to enhance, as much as the engineers try to enhance machines to have better productivity, organization behavior try to enhance the person and the group to be more productive. Okay? Therefore, these are now practical managerial problem. Practical managerial problem. How goals can enhance job performance. All these will be studied and answered by OB. How goals can enhance job performance, how jobs can be designed to enhance employee satisfaction, when individuals and the groups make better decisions, how organizational communication can be improved, how work-related stress can be alleviated, how leaders can enhance team effectiveness. All this is being emphasized as objectives by this science, organizational behavior. Very nice. We talked about individual, group, organization. This is the 3 level of analysis when it comes to organizational behavior. The unit of analysis here is the individual person. Topics such as work-related attitudes. Okay, this is the individual processes. Unit of analysis, the individual person. Topics such as work-related attitudes. The group processes. Unit of analysis is the group. Topics such as teamwork. We'll study that in chapter 8. The individual will study in chapter 6. And chapter 15 will study organizational processes. Unit of analysis is the organization. Topics such as organizational design. Therefore, these are important elements of analysis that we will go through this semester when we are studying organizational behavior. As we said, multidisciplinary roots, psychology, sociology, anthropology, political science, economic, and management science. Psychology studying individual behavior. Sociology studying the groups, and anthropology, okay? Political science, economic, and management science studying organization. Therefore, it is multidisciplinary in nature. Therefore, this is OB. It is multidisciplinary in nature. Therefore, this is psychology, sociology, this is management, this is political science, and this is anthropology, and this is economics. It's a multidisciplinary in nature. Very good. Now, we'll talk about one of the theories, an early attempt theories of explaining people's behavior toward work. This is called the theory X and the theory Y. Okay? Now, theory X assumes it's a traditional philosophy of management suggesting that most people are lazy and irresponsible and will work hard only when forced to do so. Therefore, first attempt, assumption to group people to Y, X and Y. X, lazy, doesn't like to work. You have to use the carrot and the stick in order to get him to work. Assumes that. And the other one, okay, is theory Y, philosophy of management, suggesting that under the right circumstances, people are fully capable of working productively and accepting responsibility for their work. Therefore, X, lazy, doesn't like to work. Y is responsible and he likes to work. Okay? Now, these are the first attempt to explain X, Y theory. Okay? Literally, this is lazy, and this is like to work. These are the first attempt to explain people's behavior toward the work. Now, organizational effectiveness and the quality of life at work. We have theory X and theory Y. Theory X, traditional approach. Now, regarding orientation toward people, assumption about people, interest in working, conditions under which people will work hard. We have the theory X and theory Y. Theory X, this is the traditional approach. Theory Y, this is the modern look or modern approach. Theory X, distrusting, basically lazy, low or disinterested, work only when he's being pushed. Again, the carrot and the stick. While theory Y, just the opposite, accepting, promotes betterments of human resources, need to achieve and be responsible, high interest of working, very interested, and work when appropriately trained and recognized. Therefore, these are the two types. These are the early attempt to explain, as a matter of fact, even leadership theories, okay? Therefore, it's important to know in organization behavior these two types of classification for human. Now, does organization behavior matter? Yes, organization behavior matter. Because it's very important for us to have if these employees are satisfied or unsatisfied. If the employee is satisfied, more pleasant, he is more pleasant at work, your costs become lower, high productivity, and less likely to quit the job. While if he's unsatisfied, he rejects organization policies, more likely to steal time and resources and increase mental and physical illness. Just doesn't like to work. He feels that he's forced to come to work, okay? So these are why organization behavior is matter, okay? Now, knowing organization behavior implies knowing people. And knowing people implies knowing the group. And knowing the group implies knowing organization. Therefore, knowing people implies knowing the group. Knowing the group implies knowing organization. That's why organization behavior is very important, so that we know individuals, group, and organization. Very good. Now, what are the fundamental assumptions of organization behavior? OB recognizes dynamic nature of organization. Dynamic nature of organization and the idea of open system model. Organization as open system, three types of system. We have closed system, open system, and subsystem, okay? We have to view organization like an open system because now whenever we say system, system implies what? Any system implies input, and process and output. Any system implies these elements with a process of feedback. Okay, this is definition of system. Of course, this is work within certain environment. Okay, and we have to view organization because now when you say system, open system, closed system, system, system input, process, output, any organization, input, people, resources, money, budget, and the work itself, and the output. If it is, for instance, paint factory or pen factory, the output is whatever they have. Everything, no matter how small or big, consists of a system. This is example. This pen, this cartouche is the ink, process is the writing, output is this. This is my output, report or whatever you write. No matter how things, small or big, could be looked at as a system. Type of system, open system, closed system, or open system, closed system, or subsystem. For instance, if it's a closed system, if we are in this area, this large area, and we could manufacture pencils, or we could manufacture this pen. If the process under one roof, this is called the closed system. We have in this corner, this inside thread or cotton pushed into special cylinder, then it's been soaked in the other corner into the ink. Then after that, it will be pushed into this plastic cylinder, and then it will be capped. And in this other corner, we have boxes, and this is all contained and maintained under one roof. This is called closed system. Open system, no, just like the mobile services, like TV broadcasting, like it is, you cannot contain it or maintain it under one roof. Marketing or services in general are open system. Manufacturing could be looked at as closed system. Okay. Subsystem, that anything you have consists of something bigger, and this thing consists of something smaller. Like, for instance, myself. I belong to KFUP. I belong to the Department of Management and Marketing. And this department belongs to the College of Business. Then the College of Business belong to the university, and university KFUPM. KFUPM part of universities within Saudi Arabia, and so on and so on. You can go up. Myself, I'm consist of parts, hand, head, legs, and then I go all the way back until, you have small cells, your blood items, okay? Therefore, this is the part of the systems, okay? Which is open, close, and subsystem. Okay. Now, organizational behavior, look at organization as open system because it has interaction with people, people come, people go. It's important with organization behavior is to understand individuals' behavior, group behavior, so that it will help us become more effective and more efficient within the organization. Okay? OB assumes contingency approach, which is behavior or reaction is contingent on many different variables at once. Life is so complicated, and it is not as easy as 1 + 1 = 2 or 1 + 2. It is very complicated. Therefore, and it has so much contingents, so much variables. Therefore, when you make decisions and when you do something, you have always to put that into consideration. Okay. Therefore, it is not as easy, and organization behavior takes care of that. Very good. Organization behavior, fundamental assumptions that there is no one best contingency approach. No one. There is no one best way. There is always more than one better way or one best way. Therefore, behavior is contingent upon certain conditions. It depends on so many factors, conditions, depends on so many other, sometimes you take, technical decisions and or engineering decisions or even management decisions. But you find out that the CEO, the president, he take totally different decisions because of these contingent factors or conditions. Okay. Now, this contingency approach is prospective, suggesting that organizational behavior is affected by large number of interacting factors. How someone will behave is said to be contingent on many different variables at once. So many things affecting at one time. Okay, now we'll be talking about organizational behavior history. History is very, very, very nice, and it will help you understand the evolution of this field of management. Now, for organizational behavior, only 100 years ago, people got interested in organizational behavior. It's not very far, only 100 years ago. In the last 50 years, organizational behavior gained widespread acceptance. Early days, which is scientific management and Hawthorne studies, first attempt to study behavior in organization came out to study industrial efficiency and improve work productivities. This study done by Elton Mayo, who studied in about 7 to 8 years, between 1924 to 1932, he studied industrial facilities, which is called Western Electric near Chicago. And with the objective of getting more work in less time. We'll come back into this Hawthorne studies. Now, the essence of assets management is to have efficient design of job. Human relation movement, and this is part of Mayo's work and Hawthorne studies. Now, scientific management, okay? Scientific management, which is time and motion studies, this is a type of applied research designed to classify and streamline the individual movement needed to perform jobs with the intent of finding the best way to perform. In other words, scientific management is an early approach to management and organizational behavior emphasis in the importance of design job efficiently and possibly. First attempt by Frederick Taylor, time and motion studies. On this production line, he went and literally timed out the action of the worker. He just doesn't leave it to their guess. And he record that or put a log, and then he studied their motion and said, what's the best way to do it, okay? Therefore, there is a scientific way to do it, and that's help increase productivity in factories at those early days. Human relation movements, okay? This is a perspective of organizational behavior that rejects the primary economic orientation of scientific management and recognizes instead the importance of social processes in the work setting. In other way, don't deal with the human in the organization just like dealing with machine. You have to deal with him like a human. This is very important, and that's what that's what motivates the human relation movement. Again, Hawthorne studies, okay, the Mayo's orientation was developed in the first investigation of organizational behavior known as the Hawthorne studies, which began in 1927 in Western Electric. Hawthorne worked near Chicago. The earliest study in the field of organization behavior were conducted beginning of 1927 at Western Electric Hawthorne Works factory outside Chicago. This research revealed about the human nature on the job, provided invaluable and stimulated the scientific study of behavioral organization. What is the Hawthorne studies? The Hawthorne studies is the earliest systematic research in the field of organization behavior, and this work was performed to determine how the design of work environment affect the performance. In other words, we are having here lightning, and they try to study the effect of lightning on the people who work in the factory. If they increase illumination, if they decrease the illumination, if they rearrange work environment, material things, furniture, does it affect the work or not? Now, in this Hawthorne study, they find out that this material thing doesn't affect as much as the human relationship. Showing good feeling about the worker, give him the confidence, tell him you are so good, I can depend on you. These tap on his shoulder, okay, tell him you are, I can depend on you. And these human relations are more effective than the material things. This is the essence of Hawthorne study. And there are, okay, what we call Hawthorne effect. Hawthorne effect is very interesting, okay, which is the tendency for people being studied to behave differently than they ordinarily would. Naturally, if you are being under observation and you know that you've been, then you will behave differently. You will try to be more efficient. This is called Hawthorne effect. For, if you know that you've been studied, you will work you try to work better. Okay, this is very interesting. That's why they call it Hawthorne effect. Now, as we said, the Hawthorne effect is the tendency of people being studied to behave differently than they would or normally would. Now, as we said, as engineer attempt to make machine more efficient, behaviorist attempt to make human more efficient too. We'll go back to the time and motion studies, and this is in 1911, and this is by Frederick Taylor, and this is the first attempt of scientific management. And this is inspired by scientific management while taking more humanistic approach اللي هو إلتون W. Mayo, organizational scientist, consultant. He's the founder of the human relation movement. Approach emphasizes conditions exist in organizations. Hawthorne studies, as we said, it was Mayo's investigation of organizational behavior in the study of Western Electric in 1927 near Chicago, and with the purpose how design work environment in ways that increase performance, for example, illumination, length of and duration of light to affect the performance. Now, the classical theory focus on, this is again, organizational behavior history, classical organizational theory, focus on efficient organizational structure, division of labor, and bureaucracy. Organizational behavior, start looking at it as what? Social science. And we have the effect of infotech age on organizational behavior. Okay, classical organizational theory focus on an efficient structure of organizations. The pioneer of that is Henry Fayol. He's French. He's French social historian. He puts 14 principles of management, emphasizing the division of labor. Another pioneer, Max Weber, is German, suggested 7 characteristics to be, I'm sorry, the social historian is the Max Weber, not the Henry Fayol. Henry Fayol is a French scientist who put the 14 principles of management. The other pioneer is Max Weber. He's the German social historian. He suggested 7 characteristics to be or to label organization. He is considered to be the father of bureaucratic management. We'll go about these one by one. Therefore, part of the history, classical organizational theory, which has efficient organization structure, division of labor, bureaucracy, and OB as social science and the infotech age. Now, classical organizational theory, okay, an early approach to study management that focus on most efficient way of structuring organization. It look into division of labor, as we said, and division of labor defined as the practice of dividing work into specialized tasks that enable people to specialize in what they do best. Divided people into smaller group specialized in certain area. Bureaucracy and organizational design developed by Max Weber that attempt to make organization operate efficiently by having a clear hierarchy of authority in which people are required to perform well-defined jobs. Without bureaucracy, You cannot run big organization. You cannot run government institution. Bureaucracy implies efficiency and effectiveness. That's the essence of bureaucracy when it comes. Okay. Now, organizational behaviors being viewed or looked at as a social science characteristic of an ideal bureaucracy. As we said, according to Max Weber, he's German social historian, bureaucracies are the ideal organizational form at that time. Therefore, bureaucracy came at that early time to literally organize the work, okay, and to function effectively. Therefore, that's the idea, to function effectively, efficiency and effectively. Bureaucracies must have the following characteristics. He put 7 characteristics of any organization as a part of the bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, 7 characteristics implies, okay, formal rules and regulation, impersonal treatment, no hard feeling if I take any decisions, okay, division of labor, hierarchical structure, authority structure, lifelong career commitment, and rationality. Rationality, you make decision based on rationale. Most of your decision should be based on rationale. Okay, you don't take any irrational decisions. Organizational behavior, information, or infotech age. Okay, infotech age, OB, technological advances affect almost all jobs. Technology has changed and continue to change the way many jobs are performed. We doubt that this will be one of them, but you never know or you never can tell. Therefore, technology is going to be with us all the time. As we advance in technologies, as we advance in information technologies and information revolution, we'll be seeing lots of changes in management practices. And this will lead us to globalization. What do you mean by globalization? The process of interconnecting the world's people with respect to the culture, economic, political, technological, and environmental aspects of their lives. Therefore, globalization, people all over the world, okay, they are affected by business. They are affected by the environment, and the world has become so small. Everything is affecting whatever going in the other countries. Look, for example, how much has been affected or severely affected by what? By the COVID-19 or coronavirus. Very interesting. The world becomes so fragile and so vibrant, and it could be affected. And for that, we have, okay, some of the prominent trends increasing global business, multinational enterprises or MNEs, okay, multinational, sorry, multinational enterprises, MNEs, okay. We have what we call repatriate, culture shock, and we have expatriate. We have changing management perspective. We have something called convergence hypothesis, and we have divergence hypothesis. Let's go through these definitions so that we understand what they mean. Therefore, multinational enterprises, okay, organizational that have has significant operation spreaded throughout various nations, but their headquarter in a single nation. Expatriates, okay, or expats, defined as the people who are citizens of one country but who live and work in another country. Culture, defined as the set of values, customs, and beliefs that people have in common with other members of a social unit. Example, a nation. Culture shock, the tendency of people to become confused and distorted or disoriented as they attempt to adjust to a new culture. When you go to a different country, you have just like, shock. Repatriation is the process of adjusting to one's own culture after spending time away from it. If you go to one country, you work for 4 or 5 years, when you come back, you need time to readjust back again. What do you mean by convergence hypothesis? It's a biased approach to the study of management which assumes principles work well in the United States. This highly inflexible appears is known as the principle of good management are universal, and that one that work well in the United States will apply equally well in other nations. Therefore, convergence. Convergence. Anything work in the United States will work in other countries. Is this true? It's not necessarily, because other countries, they have different culture, different situation. Therefore, we cannot. This is the convergence. Everything work in states can work everywhere. Okay. Now the divergence hypothesis approach to the study of management, which recognizes that knowing how to manage most effectively require a clear understanding of the culture in which people work. Therefore, convergence being open, okay, divergence being open to other culture, that the practices that you have in the United States will work better if you understand other culture. It's not only my way, the way that's been, done in states, it's works, going to work every day, everywhere, this is the convergence. Look, the divergence, no, you have to also be aware of other culture, other people, and it's very interesting. And at the beginning of this lecture, I gave example of United States for France, England, and Holland, German, and China, Japan, Singapore, Korea. These are different culture. They practice management differently. Now, I think I'm gonna stop here for a break. And I'll come back and we'll go from there, and we'll talk about shifting demographics of the workforce tends toward diversity. This is what we discuss in the board, so that you know and we are going to stop here, and we're going to continue after we take our break. Part 2 of this lecture.